Welcome to Elevated Understanding Chosen One. This message reached you because someone close to you isn't who they pretend to be, and your spirit already knows it. This is not an accident. This is divine timing. You were guided here because the veil is lifting, and it's time to see the truth. Someone in your circle is a snake in disguise, but you're not alone. God is revealing what was hidden so you can rise, protected, powerful, and prepared. Have you ever felt something was off even when everything looked normal? A smile that didn't match the energy, a compliment that felt more like a dig. You couldn't quite explain it, but your spirit knew. That's not paranoia, that's discernment. When you're chosen, you don't just deal with external enemies, you face internal betrayal. Sometimes the biggest threat to your destiny isn't a stranger, it's someone you once trusted. Someone in your circle is a snake in disguise. Let's break it down, chapter by chapter, so you understand how deep this goes and how to rise above it. Before we go any further, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is a warning, a revelation, and a wake-up call that every chosen one needs right now. If your spirit is resonating already, drop 77 in the comments. That's not just a number, it's a signal to the divine that you're ready to see what's been hidden, to expose what's been pretending, and to protect what's sacred. Not everyone will finish this message, but those who do, they're the ones meant to see behind the mask, to recognize the snake in their circle, and to rise with clarity and protection. And don't just listen once. Come back to this message whenever your spirit feels uneasy, because every time you return, another veil will lift, another layer of truth will be revealed, and your discernment will sharpen like never before. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The mask always slips. At first, they played the part perfectly. They smiled when you smiled. They echoed your words like they'd been living in your mind. They mirrored your dreams, nodded at your goals, and swore loyalty that sounded so real. It almost convinced your spirit to rest. They clapped the loudest when you started winning, not because they were proud, but because they needed a front row seat to your rise. They needed access. They needed proximity. And the only way to get it was to pretend. They watched you closely, not to learn from you, but to learn you, your habits, your strengths, your weak spots. They wore masks so polished that even your intuition had to blink twice. But over time, the energy changed. The enthusiasm faded. The support became selective. You'd speak life, they'd respond with silence. You'd share light, they'd cast shadows. What once felt like companionship began to feel like surveillance. Their applause grew hollow, like claps in an empty theater. Their words became double-edged, compliments dressed in passive praise but soaked in hidden envy. Their presence, once comforting, now drained you. They weren't clapping because they were proud. They were clapping because they were plotting. When you're chosen, snakes don't come hissing. They come hugging. They blend in with love. They camouflage with care. And they always wear the mask of familiarity, because the enemy knows your heart won't question what feels close. But here's the truth. No matter how well they pretend, no matter how long they wear the disguise, the mask always slips. It slips in their silence when you're succeeding. It slips in their jokes that cut too deep. It slips when they celebrate your pain more than your progress. It slips when their energy can't lie, even if their mouths still do. And when it does, when the truth leaks through the cracks, don't argue with it. Don't try to glue the mask back on for their comfort. Let the mask fall. Let the truth sting. Let the snakes slither back into the shadows they came from. Because the deeper your calling, the more seductive the disguise. They know they can't defeat you from the outside, so they try to infect you from the inside. But they forgot something crucial. You weren't just chosen, you were trained. And your spirit sees what your eyes sometimes miss. You may not have always had proof, but you had a feeling, a quiet whisper in your soul that said, something isn't right here. And that's the voice you've learned to trust more than any surface smile. Don't doubt that voice anymore. The Most High gave you discernment, not just for battle, but for survival. It's not paranoia, it's protection. You weren't crazy, you were covered. These experiences didn't break you. They sharpened you. You now walk with spiritual X-ray vision. You can see through the beautiful lies. You can feel the shift before the betrayal, because what's hidden in darkness always shows up in the light. Time exposes what time was designed to reveal, and when that mask slips, as it always will, you'll no longer be shocked. You'll be ready because chosen ones don't crumble when the mask falls. They rise and leave no room for snakes at their table. Chapter 2. Discernment is your superpower. God gave you a gift no snake can escape. Discernment is a gift not many understand, but those who do, those who truly know, can feel the weight of it. You may not always see it with your natural eyes, but your spirit sees with clarity beyond the surface. It picks up on the subtle shifts in the air, the faint ripples in the atmosphere, the unspoken energy that lingers long after the conversation ends. You feel it deep within you, that tightness in your chest, that knot in your stomach, that silent knowing that something is off. It doesn't always make sense at first, but you know. You just know. That's not anxiety. That's the spirit of the Most High trying to protect you. It's a whisper from the divine, urging you to pay attention, warning you to be cautious, guiding you towards safety. That discomfort in your soul, it's not paranoia, it's preparation. It's not fear, it's protection. Chosen one, your sensitivity is not a weakness, it's your shield. It's not a flaw that needs fixing, but a gift that needs nurturing. Don't let the world tell you to harden up or stop overthinking. The world doesn't understand what you've been given. They can't see the intricate layers of your intuition, the layers that are woven with care by the hands of the Creator. It's not something to ignore. It's something to trust. The vibes you feel, the energy you sense, it's your radar. Don't dismiss it just because the words sound right, the gestures seem sincere, or the smile looks genuine. Energy doesn't lie, even when people do. Words are easy to manipulate. Smiles can be faked. Actions can be disguised. But energy, that's the truest reflection of someone's heart. You can feel it even before they open their mouth. You were designed to detect what others ignore. You were made to see what others miss while they chase appearances. You can read between the lines, where others are blinded by the surface. You can see beneath the veil. You're not just walking through life. You're walking with awareness. It's not always comfortable, but it's always necessary. You can sense the intentions that hide behind the mask. You can feel the vibe before it even has a chance to reveal itself. This is your superpower. This is your gift. The world may call it a burden, but you know the truth. It's the divine's protection wrapped in a layer of wisdom. It's your inner compass, guiding you away from danger and closer to your purpose. So when you feel that shift, that discomfort, trust it. When your heart races for no reason, or when you can't shake that feeling that something's off, listen. The Spirit is speaking to you, and you are made to hear it. Don't ignore the signs. Don't dismiss the nudges, and most importantly, never doubt your ability to know the truth when it's hidden in plain sight. You were chosen to see beyond what the world shows, to hear beyond what the world says, and to feel what others can't even begin to understand. Discernment is your superpower, and it will guide you safely through the battles ahead. Chapter 3. Envy wears a friendly face. The most dangerous kind of enemy is the one who's close enough to smile at you and still be jealous of your light. They're the ones who show up to your victories with a grin, clapping the loudest when you succeed. On the surface, they'll cheer you on, support you, and seem like your biggest ally. But underneath all the smiles and kind words, something darker stirs. The truth is, while you're shining, they're simmering with envy. And it's not the kind of envy that's loud and obvious. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's the kind of envy that hides behind a friendly face and pretends to be happy for you, all the while wishing you would fall from grace. They'll act supportive, but secretly they're competing with you. They'll offer fake encouragement, all while silently hoping you fail. They don't want to see you rise higher because your growth only serves to highlight their stagnation. Your confidence, your peace, your ability to walk in your purpose, it makes them feel inadequate. It exposes their own insecurities and reminds them of everything they haven't achieved. And the more you shine, the more your light blinds their fragile ego. The most dangerous enemies are the ones who don't fight with knives or words. They fight with silence, with passive-aggressive compliments, with the occasional backhanded praise. They hide their bitterness in friendly gestures. They may say, "I'm proud of you," but in their heart, they wish nothing more than to see you stumble. Envy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers in the guise of kindness. Sometimes it wears a smile that looks so genuine, you don't even notice the poison beneath it. They may clap for your success, but when you turn your back, you'll catch them whispering doubts into someone else's ear. They may talk about how proud they are of your journey, but in their hearts, they hope you lose it all. Why? Because your success exposes their own failures, their own unhealed wounds, their own unrealized dreams. The thing about envy is that it thrives on comparison. When you rise, they shrink. When you move forward, they feel stuck. Your light becomes a mirror, showing them everything they wish they had. And that's why they can't truly celebrate your wins, because in their eyes, your growth feels like a personal defeat. This is why you must be discerning about who you let close. You can't afford to let anyone too close who is secretly rooting for your downfall. Your journey is too important, your light too bright to waste energy on those who seek to dim it. You might be tempted to believe that everyone who's around you truly has your best interests at heart. But remember, not everyone who smiles at you is on your side. Not everyone who celebrates your wins is truly happy for you. Some people only love you because you make them feel better about themselves. But once you start climbing higher than they're willing to, the mask begins to slip. So be wise, protect your energy, guard your heart. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner. Real friends are the ones who can celebrate your victories without fear of their own. They're the ones who don't feel threatened by your light, but inspired by it. They want to see you rise, not fall, and they'll cheer for you without hesitation because they know your success doesn't diminish theirs. Your path is sacred and your light is meant to shine, but not everyone is meant to walk this journey with you. Some are just passing through and some are here to drain you. Chapter 4, God will expose what you can't see. Here's the good news, chosen one. You don't have to go into detective mode. God will reveal. You don't have to spend sleepless nights trying to figure out who's true and who's false. You don't need to dig through the shadows looking for clues or analyze every word and gesture to determine who's really in your corner. Why? Because God sees it all, and He will make it known in His perfect timing. He will expose what's hidden in the dark. He will shake things up, move people out, and remove what doesn't belong in your life, even if it stings, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you don't understand it at the time. Because He loves you too much to let you stay surrounded by sabotage. He sees the things you can't. He knows the hearts you can't always decipher. He's protecting you from the unseen forces trying to tear you down, even when you don't realize they're there. You don't have to chase after the truth. You don't have to go searching for answers. You just have to trust that He'll expose it all in His time. What's hidden will be revealed, and when it is, you'll see that it was never meant for you in the first place. That fallout, that breakup, that sudden shift in someone's behavior, that person who once promised loyalty, now showing their true colors, that's divine protection. Don't mistake God's removal for rejection. Don't try to chase what He's pulling away. Sometimes the pain of losing someone or something is God's way of freeing you from what was always meant to hold you back. You may feel confused or hurt in the moment, but you have to remember, not every closed door is a setback. Sometimes it's just a redirect. It's His way of saying, I have better for you. I have greater plans that don't include this. When people show you who they are, even halfway, believe it. Don't let their words fool you. Don't let their apologies distract you. What you see in the moment is often the beginning of the truth. It may take time to fully unfold, but rest assured, God will shine a light on it all. When someone's actions betray their words, trust the actions, not the promises. What you lost wasn't loyalty, it was a mask. You were holding on to a version of them that wasn't real, a mask they wore to gain your trust, to manipulate your energy, to keep you close. And when God removes that mask, it's painful, it's hurtful, but it's also necessary. Because only when the mask is gone can you truly see who they were, and more importantly, who they never were. God didn't let you fall for a reason. He didn't allow you to go deeper into a situation for a reason. He didn't let you waste any more time for a reason. He's protecting you from what would have pulled you away from your calling. He's removing the distractions, the toxic attachments, and the hidden enemies that you couldn't see, but he always knew were there. He's clearing the path ahead of you, and although it may not make sense right now, trust that his wisdom surpasses everything you could ever understand. The truth will come, chosen one, and when it does, you'll see that everything he removed was never meant for you in the first place. What you thought you were losing was nothing compared to what he's preparing for you. So don't mourn what's leaving. Don't chase after what's slipping away. Let it go. Trust that what's coming next is far greater than what you're leaving behind. God will expose what you can't see, and in the end, you'll see that he was always working behind the scenes, clearing the way for your destiny. Chapter 5. Isolation was for identification. There was a reason God pulled you back. You felt it. The loneliness, the distance. You've wondered why some people fell off, why certain friendships suddenly crumbled. You've questioned why the connections you thought would last slipped away. It felt like rejection, but what if it wasn't rejection? What if it was revelation? God needed you alone to reveal who was really for you and who was faking the whole time. Sometimes we get so caught up in the company we keep that we fail to notice the true intentions of those around us. It takes stepping away. Sometimes it takes being alone to see the truth. It's in that space of solitude where God unveils the hidden motives, where he gives you the clarity to discern who is truly walking beside you and who is simply walking with you, but not for you. The snake in the circle couldn't stand your new power, so God allowed isolation to clear the room. He allowed the separation, the silence, the space. Why? Because when you're growing into the person you were meant to be, some people will not be able to handle your evolution. And when they fade, it can feel like loss. But in reality, you're gaining something greater: clarity, wisdom, discernment. Isolation wasn't punishment, it was protection. It wasn't God turning his back on you, it was God turning you toward yourself. It wasn't rejection, it was revelation. You weren't losing people, you were gaining discernment. You weren't losing connection, you were gaining clarity. In the quiet of your solitude, God allowed you to see who was pretending to be part of your journey and who was genuinely aligned with your purpose. The most painful cuts often heal you the fastest. When people leave, it doesn't always mean abandonment. Sometimes it means God is clearing the way for something better. You weren't losing people, you were gaining clarity. And what's the true value of clarity? It's the ability to trust your intuition without question, to recognize falsehoods and to walk away from people who would have only hindered your progress. When you were surrounded by noise, you couldn't hear God's voices clearly, but in isolation, it was just you and him. The distractions were gone, and you were finally able to tune into his wisdom. Sometimes the people you thought would be with you forever are the ones holding you back. God has to remove them so you can see the truth, that your growth was never meant to be a group project. Your purpose was always yours to fulfill alone. Isolation doesn't mean abandonment, it means recalibration. It means God is setting you up for something bigger. He's giving you the space to align with his vision for your life without the interference of people who weren't meant to be part of the journey. So if you're feeling isolated right now, don't mourn it. Don't fight it. Embrace it. Because in your isolation, you're being refined. In your solitude, you're being prepared. And when the right people show up, when your circle shifts, you'll know they're there for the right reasons. Not because you've settled for familiarity, but because you've chosen clarity. Isolation was never a curse. It was God's way of preparing you for the blessing of understanding your true worth and purpose. Chapter 6. Your light threatens their darkness. Here's what you need to know. You didn't do anything wrong. You were just being real. You were chosen. You were light. But that's exactly the problem. Your truth made them uncomfortable. Your peace disrupted their chaos. Your strength revealed their weakness. You didn't have to say a word. Your presence alone stirred what was hidden. Chosen one, when your light shines, it exposes darkness. And when the dark can't hide anymore, it fights back. People under its influence act strange. You'll feel the shifts, colder tones, fake encouragement, subtle digs. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet and calculated. But it's not personal, it's spiritual. a reaction to the anointing you carry. Walking in your purpose means shining light where others prefer shadows. You can't help it, it's who you are. But not everyone wants light. Not everyone wants truth. Your glow doesn't just highlight beauty, it reveals insecurity, jealousy, fear, and pride. And those holding on to that energy, they'll see your light as a threat because it forces them to confront what they've been hiding from or stay stuck in it. Some will smile while secretly resenting your progress. Others will act supportive while silently hoping you fail. It's subtle, but your spirit feels it. Their energy shifts, their words lose sincerity, and their actions no longer align with love. And then you start to question yourself. You wonder, did I do something wrong? You replay conversations in your head, trying to make sense of the shift. But let this be your confirmation. It's not you, it's what you carry. It's the power inside you that they don't understand. It's the growth they didn't expect. It's the favor they can't explain. You didn't change, you just evolved, and your evolution is too loud for those still living small. You became a mirror they didn't ask for, reflecting back the work they refused to do. But that's not your burden. Your job is to shine, to heal, to grow, to walk boldly in your divine assignment. You're not arrogant. You're not too much. You're spiritually awake, and that scares them. Don't shrink to fit their comfort. Don't dim your light to blend in. You were chosen to stand out, chosen to disrupt darkness with divine light. Yes, your light threatens their shadows. That's the point. So shine anyway. Boldly, unapologetically, courageously with faith. Because their discomfort is proof you're walking in truth, and light always wins. Not by force, but by simply being what it is. Light doesn't argue with darkness, it replaces it. Let them adjust to your glow, or let them walk away. Either way, keep shining, because the world doesn't need more shadows. It needs you. Chapter 7. Rise above. Don't fight like them. When you find out someone's been faking it, it hurts. That betrayal cuts deep, not because you needed them, but because you trusted them. You let them in, shared your heart, your vision, your truth, and they turned around and used it as ammunition. That kind of deception isn't just painful, it's personal. But hear this, chosen one, don't let their poison pollute your purpose. You weren't built to fight dirty, you were built to rise divinely. It's tempting to clap back, to match their energy, to expose them like they tried to expose you. But the moment you stoop to their level, you step out of your anointing, and that's exactly what the enemy wants. To pull you out of alignment and into chaos. Stay in the light, stay in integrity. Your silence is louder than their slander. Your growth is the clapback. Your success is the proof. You see, not every battle deserves your energy. Some battles are distractions in disguise sent to detour your destiny. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll try to distract you. That's why your response is so important. When you know who you are, you don't entertain chaos. You don't explain yourself to confusion. You don't wrestle with snakes. You rise. Let God handle the vengeance. He saw what you didn't. He heard the conversations behind closed doors. He witnessed the betrayal you didn't catch. He knows every plot, every lie, every trap, and he's already working it out for your good. Snakes fall off naturally when they realize they can't stop what God has started. You're not here to respond in kind to negativity. Instead, let your blessings speak for themselves. Chosen one, your very presence proves that light continues to shine even in the darkest places. The way you continue to love, build, and rise, even after betrayal, is a testament on its own. You didn't just survive the betrayal, you rose above it. Here's the truth. They didn't betray the old version of you. They betrayed the new version of you that was about to emerge. They sensed your growth before you fully embraced it, and instead of supporting it, they tried to destroy it. But what they didn't realize is that betrayal was part of the process. The hardship made you stronger. The loss sharpened your focus. The silence gave you resilience. You're not bitter, you're better. You're not angry, you're aligned. You're not weak, you're moving forward with wisdom. So no, you don't engage with them the same way. You rise above. You rise through forgiveness. You rise through healing. You rise by maintaining your peace. You rise by refusing to be dragged down by what tried to destroy you. You're not just chosen, you're elevated. Let them talk. Let them plot. Let them try. Just don't let them shift your character, because in the end, the throne is still yours. And God doesn't waste betrayal. He uses it to lift you. So continue to shine. Keep loving. Keep rising. The light will always prevail. And this is your victory.